My name is Caroline Whitman, and for a long time, I thought I was living a dream. I was 38, a writer with books out in the world, living in a cozy apartment in Manhattan with my husband, Mark. He was a financial consultant, and just hearing his voice could calm me down. He always said my name in the sweetest way, like it meant something special. Every morning, he kissed my forehead and handed me coffee made just the way I liked it. Every night, he would whisper, "You're my whole world." I believed him. I really did. But one night, everything changed. It was close to midnight when I woke up and noticed the bed was empty. I thought maybe Mark went downstairs to grab a snack or check something. I rolled over, planning to fall back asleep. Then I heard a voice. It was Mark's voice coming from his office. He sounded serious. "She still doesn't suspect anything," he said. I froze. My heart started beating really fast. I couldn't breathe right. I sat up and listened more carefully. "Everything's going as planned. Almost done," he added. Quietly, I got out of bed and tiptoed into the hallway. I leaned against the wall outside his office. The door was slightly open, and a little light came through the crack. I couldn't hear much more, but honestly, I didn't need to. I had already heard enough. I went back to bed and pretended to sleep. Mark came back a few minutes later and climbed in next to me like nothing was wrong. But something was definitely wrong. I didn't sleep at all. I stared at the ceiling, my thoughts spinning. I didn't know what Mark was up to, but I knew it had something to do with me. The next morning, I moved around the kitchen like a ghost. Mark was still asleep. I stood in front of the coffee machine, my hands shaking. I grabbed my phone. Until that moment, I had never looked at our money. Mark always handled it. Bills, savings, all of it. I trusted him. I thought that's what a good wife did. But now, I wasn't so sure. I opened our banking app. My heart stopped. There were so many money transfers. $500 here, $1,000 there, $750, $2,000, one after another for the past 3 months. None were huge by themselves, but together they made an ugly picture. I grabbed the counter, trying not to fall over. Then I heard his voice behind me. "Checking the account this early?" Mark said in a casual voice. But I saw the surprise in his eyes. He leaned against the doorway, rubbing his neck. "Just being curious," I said, trying to sound relaxed. "Some of these charges look strange." He walked over, poured some coffee, and gave me a fake smile. "Oh, those? Just a few small investments. I must have forgotten to tell you." He sipped his coffee without looking at me. Something inside me changed. It wasn't anger yet. It was something colder, sharper. I nodded like I believed him, but I didn't. I wasn't looking at him with love anymore. I was watching carefully, seeing all the little lies in his fake smiles and shrugs. That night, I noticed even more. He was always on his phone, turning it face down, stepping out to take calls. And when I asked what he was doing, he just smiled and said, "Just business, nothing for you to worry about." But I was worried, very worried. And I knew I needed to act fast. 2 days later, I got my chance. It was a quiet night. Mark finished dinner and went upstairs to shower. Usually, he carried his phone everywhere, but this time, he left it on the dining table. My heart started pounding. I waited a minute, then grabbed it. It wasn't locked. My hands were shaking as I looked through his messages. Most were normal. Work stuff, casual chats. But then I saw one message thread with no name, just a phone number. The last message said, "Send her the Ilium files. Just make sure she stays in the dark. Almost done." I froze. I read it again and again. Who was her? Was it me? Was Mark sending something about me to someone? My stomach turned. I placed the phone back exactly where he'd left it, careful not to disturb a single thing. Then I walked to the kitchen, splashed, cold water on my face, and tried to slow my breathing. The sound of the shower was still running. I had a few more minutes, but my mind wouldn't stop racing. Mark wasn't just lying. He wasn't just cheating. He was planning something. Something big. And I was the target. Later that night, when he slid into bed, he kissed my forehead like he always did. "You okay?" he asked softly. I nodded and gave him a faint smile. "Just tired." But inside, I was screaming. He didn't know I had seen the message. He still believed I was in the dark. That was his mistake, and I was going to use it. The next morning, as soon as Mark left for work, I called Anna. Anna Prescott wasn't just my best friend from college. She was a brilliant estate attorney. We had lost touch for a while, but reconnected last summer over coffee. I never imagined I'd be calling her like this. When she answered, I didn't waste a second. My voice shook as I told her everything. Mark's lies, the secret transactions, the message about the Ilium files. She listened without interrupting. When I finally stopped talking, she asked just one question. "How much money are we talking about?" "Close to 500 million, I said. There was a long pause. Then her voice came back, calm, firm, unwavering. "Caroline, we need to move your assets. Now." My knees buckled. I sat on the edge of the couch. "Are you sure?" I whispered. "Yes. If you wait, he'll strike. We'll create a trust in your name. It'll be legally protected. He won't be able to touch a dime." I swallowed hard. The apartment, the savings, the book royalties, the investments, everything I'd built was on the line. "I'm in," I said. The next 72 hours were a blur. Documents, signatures, phone calls. Anna worked like a machine. She brought in her team. We transferred the apartment title into the trust, locked down the investment accounts, shifted every single asset under my personal legal protection. By the time Mark walked through the door on the third day, takeout in hand, and his usual charming smile on his face, it was already done. "Thought we'd have Thai tonight," he said cheerfully. I nodded and took the bag from him. He had no idea everything had changed. The papers were signed, the money was moved, the fortress was built. Let him think I was still asleep. Let him make the next move. Because this time, I was ready. 4 days later, he made his move. It was a Friday evening. He came home earlier than usual, wearing one of his tailored suits. Calm, smug. He set his briefcase down and sat across from me at the dining table. "We need to talk," he said, sliding a folder toward me. I didn't flinch. I opened it slowly. "Divorce. Papers. I think it's for the best," he continued, his voice carefully measured. "We've grown apart. I don't want this to become painful." I looked up at him, my face unreadable. "Really?" I asked. He hesitated, just long enough for a flicker of doubt to cross his eyes. Then he nodded. "Yes, it's better this way." I took a breath and slid the folder back to him. "Before we go any further, there's something you should know." His brow furrowed. "What?" I leaned forward, my voice steady and clear. "I've already moved everything." He blinked. "What?" "The apartment, the accounts, the royalties, all of it. It's in a protected trust now. You can't touch a cent." The color drained from his face. What do you mean?" "I mean," I said calmly, "you don't get to walk in here, hand me divorce papers, and walk away with half of my life." His jaw tightened. His hand clenched the edge of the folder. "You can't do that." "I already did." He stared at me, searching for any crack, any weakness. But I gave him nothing. "You were right about one thing," I said quietly. "Life is unpredictable." He slowly pushed back from the table and stood. "We'll see each other in court," he said, voice cold. I stood too, meeting his stare. "Then go ahead. Try." He walked out, and for the first time in weeks, I exhaled, because now he knew. I wasn't the woman he could manipulate anymore. I thought the worst was over. I was wrong. 3 days after Mark stormed out, I started noticing things at work. Whispers, side glances. Something was coming, and this time, it wasn't just about money, it was about destroying me. My coworkers, people who once greeted me with smiles, suddenly stopped looking me in the eye. It wasn't in my head, it was happening too often. Then Rachel, my assistant, came into my office. Her face was pale and she was holding a printed page. "You need to see this," she said quietly. It was a screenshot from an anonymous forum. The title, "CFO Hides Funds During Divorce Using Company Money." Beneath it was a post accusing a high-level executive, no name, of stealing company money to protect herself in a divorce. But in the comments, someone had made it clear, I know who it is. Caroline Whitman. Look into her. My heart dropped. Mark. I knew it. "He's trying to ruin me," I whispered. Rachel nodded. "If this spreads, your reputation, even your job—" No! I stood up and started pacing. I had built everything on my own. No shortcuts, no favors, just hard work and integrity. And now, one lie could burn it all to the ground. "I need to call Anna," I said. That evening I sat across from Anna in her office, hands shaking. I told her everything. "This isn't just about the divorce anymore," I said. "He's trying to destroy me at work." Anna leaned back, calm but firm. "He's playing dirty. He wants to scare you into settling. But if you're not backing down—" "I'm not," I said, steady now. "Good," she replied. "We'll send a cease and desist, and if he keeps pushing, we'll sue him for defamation." A flicker of hope lit up in me. He wanted to wear me out with lies. But what he didn't know, what he always underestimated, was that I wasn't afraid of the truth. 3 days later, Anna called me back to her office. Her voice was tight, serious. "He filed a lawsuit," she said. "He's accusing you of financial fraud." I blinked. "What?" "He says you moved marital assets illegally. He claims you embezzled money from your joint accounts." I collapsed into the chair. "He can't be serious." "Oh, he is," Anna said, sliding a file toward me. "And he's not alone. He filed with someone else." I opened the file. The name hit me like a punch. Ilomero. It was the name I had seen in that shady text message on Mark's phone. "Who is he?" I asked. Anna's expression darkened. "A known con artist. He's been linked to fake documents and fraud schemes. Never convicted, but his name comes up often." I flipped through the papers. There were fake transactions, forged signatures. Some looked like mine. "These aren't mine," I said, my voice rising. "These are lies. We know, but we need proof." All my fear turned into fire. He was doing it again, trying to bury me in lies. "Then let's bury him in the truth," I said. Anna nodded and handed everything to a forensic finance expert. For the next week, we worked nonstop. I barely slept. We traced every real transaction, every document, verified every signature, followed every digital trail. This wasn't about money anymore. This was about my name, my dignity, my right to defend what I built. By the end of the week, we had it all. The expert traced the fake documents back to Ilya's firm. The dates were wrong. The signatures didn't match, and there was no link to any of my real accounts. Mark had tried everything, but the truth was stronger, and this time, it had backup. A month later, we walked into court. Anna was calm and sharp. I sat beside her in navy blue, back straight, hands steady. Across the room, Mark looked like a ghost. Nervous, jumpy, lost. The judge reviewed every document. Our case was solid. Ilya didn't even show. When the ruling came, I closed my eyes. Not with relief, but with finality. The court threw out all of Mark's claims. He got nothing from my trust. Worse for him, he was ordered to pay my legal fees. His smear campaign had completely backfired. After the hearing, he tried to speak to me in the hallway. "You didn't have to do this," he said quietly. I looked him in the eye. "No, Mark, you didn't have to do this." Then I turned and walked away. For good. The weeks after were quiet. I took slow steps. I went back to writing. I walked through Central Park. I let silence replace the chaos. I didn't celebrate. I reflected. Because winning doesn't always feel like joy. Sometimes it feels like peace after a hurricane. Sometimes it's just the freedom to breathe again. And I learned something through it all. Something every woman should remember. Trust is a gift, but control over your life, that's a right. No matter how charming someone seems, never give away your power blindly. Know your worth, guard your future, and if someone ever tries to destroy you with lies, don't break, stand, and let the truth shout louder than revenge. If you're still here, thank you. And if this story hit home, share it, like, comment. Let someone else know they're not alone, because real strength, it's not just surviving the storm, it's learning to own the sky after.